guys, welcome back to the SCHICK Magazine podcast. Now I'm very excited because today we have someone extra special on the podcast. She's a model, a writer, and a humanitarian. Really, she's the full package, right? And her name is Philomena Kwao.
That was perfect.
Thank you.
Absolutely perfect.
I do try. Hi, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. Really excited.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. I'm having a really good day and a really good time in Nigeria.
Awesome. Now, it's your first time in Lagos, isn't it?
It is.
Okay. What's your experience been so far?
Wow. Wow.
That's the only way to describe it.
So, one of my favorite programs is Jennifer's Diary.
No way.
I love her.
No
My
way.
name is Jennifer. I love her to pieces.
I can't
You know,
believe
she's
this.
like trying to get into VI Lekki.
Yeah.
And so it's like I've been living vicariously through her.
Yeah.
So to be here
In
and,
VI.
you know, and just to go off and be like, okay, I made it to Lagos.
Yeah.
Like, I almost want to go and visit her hair shop, even though I know it's not real. But it's crazy. Lagos reminds me of New York. The energy here is electrifying. I'm like,
Honestly.
do you people sleep?
We do not.
It's the hustle, the entrepreneurship. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's like a hotbed of beautiful minds, flooded streets.
Yeah.
You know, creativity, innovation, working around things that don't always work for you.
I love that. We should write that down somewhere. Working around things that don't always work for you.
I feel like if I take home anything from Lagos, that is it. It's that people work here in some of the hardest conditions and they make the most incredible magic happen. Like, I think I'm inspired by that. I need to do more of that in my own life. Be
Awesome.
like a Lagosian.
But you've been hustling quite a bit.
I have.
How long have you been a model?
7 years.
7 years. Well, that's
Yes,
a long time.
a long time.
And how did your whole career kick off?
So I was doing my master's degree and a friend sent in my pictures to an agency because she thought I would make a really good model, and she wasn't lying because they were like, wow.
Yeah.
And then a few months after that, a New York agent came and said, oh, I would do really well in the US. So when I graduated, quit my job and then moved to New York, and I guess the rest is history. We're here.
Oh wow. So you live in New York full time now?
Part-time because my husband lives in London.
Okay, you're married.
I am. And, you know, I'm juggling like work, life. You know, when your work is in one country, your life is in another. It's a little difficult, but yeah.
Okay.
We are managing.
Well done.
I've learnt that.
We're managing.
We are managing. Well, my husband's Nigerian, so he's just been teaching me all the slang.
Oh please, you're Nigerian.
All the slang.
You're Nigerian,
I know.
like born and bred. Come on.
I know, right? This place feels like home.
Would you ever consider living in Nigeria?
No.
Why not?
I'm scared of the dark.
I see.
I never grew out of it.
I get it. Scared of the dark. I get it.
And just before we started, what just happened?
We had a little bit of darkness.
Can you imagine? No.
Interesting.
No.
Okay.
And I feel like I was born and raised in London. So I'm a city girl, but London doesn't nearly have the pace that Lagos does. And I'm at a point where I think I need things to slow down a bit.
Okay.
You know? Lagos is not slow. So
To be honest.
yes.
I
So I
get it.
don't know how I could survive here.
I get it. So when it comes to, speaking about important issues in, the fashion industry, especially the international fashion industry, you're quite outspoken.
I am.
Right, which is awesome.
But the thing is, and it's something that I've learned along my career, I'm outspoken without opening my mouth. My very
interesting.
being is different.
It's just speaking.
You know, every time a brand takes the risk of using me, they're making a statement, which is probably why I got so much press in the first place, because I'm new. Everything that society tells you not to be is rolled into one with me. Dark skin, check. Big, check. Natural hair, check. It's like society tells you that, if you're white, you need to be long, tall and thin.
Yeah.
If you're black, you need to be light-skinned, straighter hair, or if you do want to wear your natural hair, it has to be that, acceptable curl. And if you are going to be plus, then you have to have the acceptable curves, And
Yeah.
I'm just none of that.
Yeah.
All rolled into one. I make a statement just by being.
By being you.
And when I realized that, and when people would be so impacted by me being in a campaign, they would literally send messages, I realized, you know what, this modeling is bigger than myself.
Yeah.
I almost feel obliged to speak on your behalf.
Yeah.
And that's when I started being really, really vocal. I realized, listen, you're not just modeling to make money, you're actually part of something that is a massive shift in the definition and the perception of beauty.
Yeah, which is interesting because I was going to ask you if you feel the pressure sometimes to be like the face of the plus size model or the dark skin model or the natural hair, model. Does it get too much sometimes? You just want to just do you?
It's not pressure because everything you said is me. When you open the door, you can't put on anything else. My skin is dark. My hair is... I can't be anything else. So it's not a pressure. It is me.
Yeah.
I'm being myself. Do you see what I'm... Mm-hmm. It's crazy, I think. And that's why it is important to be yourself at a certain level because you can't be anything else but you. Yeah. So it's not a pressure. The only time it would be a pressure is if you're trying to be something that you're not and you're forcing. And you're wearing a mask and then you have to be a certain way all the time and you're like, oh my god, it's exhausting. By being, as I tell every single person, by you being who you are, you already are. You're speaking volumes. Every time a black woman or a black man, but particularly black woman, enter into a space in which they were not previously seen, you're speaking. You don't even need to open your mouth.
That is so true.
But it's true.
Yeah.
People talk about this pressure of being, but I am what I am. The only person who's going to put the pressure on me is myself if I don't like myself, if I'm now trying to battle to be something else, which I went through. I wasn't eating for a long time because I wanted to be skinny. I bleached my skin because I wanted to be lighter. Like I wore my hair in the way I thought I needed to wear it. It's one of those things. Yeah.
Okay.
You just are.
You just are.
I love it. You are what you are. You're here. You're making this podcast. You're using your voice. You just are. There's no pressure in it. You're doing it. You are. Do you have the pressure to be perfect? Do I have to speak on every time a black woman is targeted? Every time someone says negative things about plus women in the media and the press? And no, I don't. Okay. I only speak when I want to. You can't make me do anything. Fair. It's my life story is my life story, and it's an inspiration where it is an inspiration and people always have something to say. People always have something to say about everything. I don't make it my personal mission to comment and talk on everything because it's not what I want to do. For those that want to do that, kudos to them. I think everyone needs to live their honest life and honest truth because you will get tired and you will get burned out. When you're tired and burned out, you don't serve anybody any good.
Okay. All right. So aside from colorism, which is a huge issue in itself,
I'm telling you,
racism, what other kinds of issues do you think women of color face in the international fashion industry?
Wow. When you ask me a question that just has so many
layers.
Internationally, I think racism and the general perception of black women in the media has always been negative. Especially African women live in the US, African American women. So people have been socially conditioned to accept a certain kind of woman and use that to homogenize black women. What I mean is everybody thinks black women are all the same. We're feisty. We snap our fingers. We're loud. We're rude. We're sassy. I hate that word sometimes. I hate that word. We're exotic. We're foreign. So people approach you in a certain way because they think that that's who you are and that's how you are. And that's dangerous. I feel like sometimes with black women, in our quest to fight for our space, we homogenize ourselves and we try and find a definition for black woman when really there isn't a definition for black woman. You're a black woman because you're black. Not because you behave a certain way. Not because you look a certain way. Not because you speak a certain way. You are what you are. Why do we try and homogenize this experience? And when we do that, the West takes everything that's negative. So you walk into a space and they expect you to be loud. They expect you to twerk. They expect you to do all these things that supposedly define a black woman. And when you don't do that, they're like, oh. Or they'll listen to a rap song and then be like, what does that mean? There's so many layers to this. I don't even know if we have time to discuss it. But that's why I write in the Metro UK. I write a lot about these issues because there's just different layers. And I've lived in a lot of different places, and I'm a black woman that, in British, I'm Ghanaian, I live in New York. I'm hitting different crossroads at every section. There's so many layers. I don't even know how we're gonna unpack it all.
Yeah. No, but thank you for addressing, some of them. When it comes to your modeling career, how do you think that has helped you to sort of be like an agent of change? Because I know that changing the story is something that seems quite important to you.
Yeah.
So how has your career helped in that regard?
I think it's helped me first and foremost. Modeling helped me become friends with myself. There's something that women do, and I didn't realize that women did it until I actually checked my own self and realized that I was doing it.
Okay.
We hide the things we don't like.
Do you mean physically or
physically,
in regards to other things?
mentally, but most importantly physically first, because modeling is physical. When you don't like your legs, what do? You wear long skirt, trousers. When you don't wear your arms, you always wear a shawl. Most women have actually not fully looked at themselves in a long time. When was the last time you stood in front of the mirror naked and actually looked at your entire body properly? If I took a picture of you now and showed you your body, would you recognize it? And most people wouldn't. Because when we're looking in the mirror, we're already covering the things we don't want to see hurriedly.
Yeah.
So when you see it, you're like, oh my gosh, it's shocking, it's alarming. The thing about modeling is I'm not picking what I'm wearing most of the time, all of the time. I don't get to choose. So if I don't like my legs and I have to wear shorts and I have to model them, I have to look at those legs. They're going to take a picture. It's going to be in print. And I have to look at a massive picture of my legs. Once you look at it and you realize, you know what, it's not even that bad. No one's reacting negatively. In fact, most people do not even care. Why do I care so much? Why am I holding myself captive so much? Once I started knocking down those barriers for myself, I became more comfortable in myself. Once I became more comfortable in myself, I was able to talk to other people about my journey to loving myself. And I'm still on that journey. I don't feel this way every day. But, once you start doing these things, and once I started becoming more confident, I was more confident in my jobs. When I was more confident as a model, I started booking more jobs. When you're booking more jobs, more representation, more visibility. And like I said, every time a brand that hasn't previously used a dark skin plus size model before uses me, there's more representation, there's more change.
Yeah. Awesome. So you have a book that's coming out soon, don't you?
Yes. It's a children's picture book.
Awesome.
Yes, because
that's such an awesome idea. I hardly meet, people who write those types of books.
I mean, it's because I live in the UK, and the UK is actually quite backwards when it comes to representation, which is why you find a lot of models and actresses going over to the States, more work there.
Okay.
But I was looking for a book for my goddaughter, and she's a beautiful dark-skinned girl, and I was like, why are they all white?
Yeah.
And when they are black, why are they all light-skinned with curly hairs? Does not look like me. It doesn't look like her. We don't often realize that we condition young black girls before they even know their name. They're conditioned to hate things about themselves.
Yeah.
That's why they're 5 years old and they already want weave. That's why they're 5 years old and they're already, uncomfortable with themselves.
Yeah.
So I figured, okay, well, I'm going to do it myself then. So I worked with an illustrator, Lydia Orange. She's amazing. And I wanted to, liken the features that have been demonized about us to things that are pleasant.
Okay.
So things like nose as wide as a strawberry. Yeah. Strawberries are nice. They're cute.
Yeah.
Oh, my nose is like a strawberry. Positive reinforcement of the features so that you can teach your young daughter to celebrate her features as she is. Hair like candy floss. She'll see. I'll put it on my Instagram, the details of where you can buy it.
Okay. And what's it called?
The Queen in Me.
Queen in Me.
Yeah, well, there's queens in all of us, and I think it's really important for young black girls to know that, to find positive associations to the features that are so often demonized. Our hair is always demonized. Our noses, our lips. If we can find positive ways of looking at ourselves, then when someone says something horrible, society tells you that, you need to make your nose smaller, your lips aren't acceptable in you, and you're like, you know what? My nose looks like a strawberry. I don't care. It's fly anyway.
My hair's like candy floss. I love that. I love that.
Pleasant things.
You have beautiful skin, by the way.
Thank you.
Such a beautiful skin.
Thank you.
But I'm going to stop gushing now. So in terms of your career, what would you say has been the highlight for you, your biggest achievement so far?
This is a common question, and it's one of the ones I find very difficult to answer because I am a first for a lot of brands. So every time a brand that, like I said, uses me, it's a first.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I think if I want to say something that was like groundbreaking for me, that I didn't realize, Sports Illustrated.
Okay.
So I'm from the UK, and Sports Illustrated is not big in the UK, so I didn't really understand how big it was. I didn't really understand the impact it would have until I realized I was the first black plus size girl to be inside.
Yeah.
It was an advertorial for Swimsuits for All, and you know, they had the red carpet, and they had all this fuss, and everybody was making this noise, and there was all this press, and I was like, wow, so really they've never used, you know, my body type before in the magazine, and I was like, wow. You know those moments where you sit down and you're like, okay. And the messages that came in from that, I was like, oh my God, this is powerful. It's bigger than me. I've learned to appreciate every single job, because every single job is an increased chance for black women to be visible. Every single job is an increased chance for dark plus size women to be visible, and so I'm grateful.
Okay.
Yeah, it's everything all together, man. Yeah.
Okay, before I let you go,
yes.
I'd really like to know, you know, within or in the next 10 years,
yes,
in regards to changes within the industry, what would you like to see? So that could be in regards to the way models are treated, in regards to diversity, in regards to inclusion, whatever that is.
I'd like to see more black plus size models. Period.
I knew that would.
No, people. Yeah. It's funny. I did an interview the other day, and they were like, "Oh, but that means less for you." No. This is part of the problem. This is where the issue is. We have homogenized black people so much that we always think that one person is interchangeable with another.
So
why is it we can tell the difference between two white people, but we can't tell the difference between two black women?
True.
Yeah?
This is too much.
Why? Because we're conditioned like that, we have crabs in a bucket syndrome. It's like, if this girl gets a job, that means I can't get the job.
Yeah.
Why do we see ourselves as the same? We're so beautifully rich and diverse that other people getting work does not take away from me, because they don't even look like me.
Yeah.
You know, it's really dangerous for you to think that just because you've got one black person in your fashion show or one black person in your campaign, you've hit the nail on the head in terms of diversity. No, because one black woman does not speak for all. We're different. We need more black plus size women. We really do. We need more. We need more. We need more. At home, here in Nigeria, here in Ghana, African countries, South Africa, I don't want to see a fashion week where you don't have plus size models. What do you mean? What do you mean? It doesn't need to be separate. It needs to be included. It needs to be included. We need to see women of all shapes and sizes, all colors and tones as beautiful. When you're doing your films, when we're doing Nollywood, bigger women, they don't always need to be the joke. They don't always need to be the joke of the movie.
So true.
No, she can also be the CEO.
Yeah.
She can be the love interest. She can be the bride. She can be the beauty queen. Let's start changing the narrative of how we showcase our women for ourselves, and then we wait for everybody else to take notice.
Wow. Philomena. You're phenomenal.
Thank you.
You are phenomenal. That was powerful, honestly.
Thank you.
I love the way you just broke, especially the last question. I love the way you just broke that down.
Because it's killing us. It's killing us as a people if we think that to get to the top, there can only be one. If we think that if this girl gets the job, it means I don't get it.
Yeah.
So you're trying to pull somebody down. No. Don't homogenize black women. Don't homogenize black people. That's why when people say, oh, you went to Africa, it irritates me.
Very irritating.
Africa, a continent of, 52 different countries. Even in this Nigeria alone, over 250 different tribes. And you want to say Africa. No, allow people the space to be who they are. Allow people to define themselves. Let's start appreciating the fact that one person winning does not mean that I'm losing, and all of us will win together.
Yeah. Awesome.
Thank you.
This has been amazing.
Thank you.
Such a good conversation.
It's been nice talking to you too. I like your questions. Nice, juicy questions. Good answers. Important questions.
Yes, definitely important conversations. It's been great.
Thank you so much.
So we hope to see more of you in the future.
I hope so.
Hope to see you in Lagos again.
I hope so. Every time an organization or a platform like yourself gives me a voice to speak, it's good. It's good for everyone. It's good for me. I'd love to come back. I really would.
We look forward to it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. See you soon.
Thank you for having me. Bye.
Thanks for for listening. Don't forget to stay updated with all of this chic magic. That's right, on all our social media pages at SCHICK Magazine. That's SCHICK Magazine. That's on everything: Facebook, Snapchat, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and read our digital magazine at iamchic.com.